Good afternoon to all presenters here. Wonderful to be with you, and I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all presented here. This is the third day of the 10th London International Conference. Thank you all for finding time and being with us. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentations, please type them into the chat box. We will have time for questions at the end. Each speaker has approximately 10 minutes for the presentation, and then we can find time for the questions to discuss. We can get the ideas or additions from our presenters or the academicians here, from our colleagues. To keep the quality of sound functional during the conference, please mute yourself when you are not sharing. Thank you for your attention. And the first presentation is from three academicians. And it's the title you can see on the screen: A Literature Review of Supply Chain Finance in a Digital and Sustainable Environment, a Conceptual Framework. Professor Jansen will present it. And the stage is yours, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Kurt, also for the introduction. Well, there are three authors for this article. Elena Kaledinova from Han University of Applied Sciences in the Netherlands, and Wolter from the same university. And last but not least, myself. I'm an emeritus from the university. Well, there will be four topics. A short introduction, a literature review, also be quite short. A conceptual model, a little bit longer, and then some time for conclusion, and especially for discussion. Well, let's hop to the introduction. I don't know if you're familiar with supply chain finance, so that's why I wrote a small definition from the EBA, the European Banking Association, and very brief, it's about financial arrangements in the form of debt, equity, or financial contracts used in collaboration by at least two supply chain partners, so two companies in the supply chain, and facilitated by the focal company, mostly a multinational, with the aim to improve the overall financial performance and mitigate the overall risk of the supply chain. Well, this is a very beautiful definition, and I'll make it a bit more clear in one of the next slides. What was the goal of the research? As you can see, the research question, the conceptual model we would like to develop for supply chain finance, but not only in the traditional way of finance, but also looking to sustainable aspects of measuring performance. A small and little picture about supply chain management. As you can see in the middle, there's a focal company that's often a multinational, not necessarily, but it's often the case. You have suppliers, and in real life, of course, it's a very complicated structure, but for convenience sake, we made it like this. And there's, of course, a customer. And we observe three flows. The first line are the goods and services. The dotted line is the information. And finally, there's a value stream from the customer tier 1 to the focal company and to the supplier tier 1. And it is clear that supply chain finance is especially looking to the financial flow, the value flow in the supply chain. But of course, you need the other two flows to understand the financial flow. Also, in the brief introduction, the four pillars of supply chain finance. I will not go to read all the aspects, but it's about supply chain management. It's about finance. It's about IT. And it's about the financial instruments often provided by banks and other financial companies. And in those four pillars, we define actually supply chain finance. And it's of course clear that in this research about the conceptual framework, all four aspects will play a role. Well, like all academic research, we often start with a literature review, and it would be a bit boring to show you all the articles, so I highlighted a few. Of course, we had a look at one of the well-known books about Brearley and Myers, the European Banking Association, but also newer stuff like Gleason and White about sustainability in the value chain. And of course, one of the classical books about supply chain finance of Professor Pfall and Gom from 2009, an article which was quite important to start this new subject in supply chain management, supply chain finance. Well, I would like now to focus a little bit more to the conceptual model and take my time for that. There are actually a few steps to understand how it works. And it starts with this one on the left-hand side. It's in fact a twisted plotting of the first slide we saw about supply chain management. We see on the bottom the purchases, the production in the company, and at the end we see the sales. This leads to two main processes, the so-called order-to-cash process, O2C on top, and we see on the bottom the purchase-to-pay process. And this has impact on all sorts of ledgers, so debtors, inventories, and creditors in the model. I will now go to the second step. So we had the first step, the events, like buying and selling and production. We go a bit more deeper into the processes. And from the events, we go to the business processes, which are organized in a certain way. And especially enterprise resource planning plays an important role, which we will also see later in the model. But of course, it has impact on a few metrics. One of them is the net operating working capital, defined as debtors plus inventories minus creditors. It has impact on the value of the net working capital, but also the duration. And this has influence on one of the outcomes, the liquidity. And the liquidity is very important for a company to survive in a supply chain. Let's go to the next step, the performance. At the end, in business, we always need financial outcome. That means the financial value is what it counts all about, and often measured with economic value added. In the article, of course, I will explain more about this issue. We also need some data, and often the data are from outside of the company in the capital asset pricing model. And with a few formulas, as you can see, we can calculate the financial value. Well, the three steps, they are now combined in the total model, as you can see. It's a little bit like spaghetti, sorry for that. One moment, please. Something is happening with my screen.
You can just hit the slide part and it will disappear, I think.
Okay, that's good.
Part. Yeah.
If the slide is there, then it's good. What you can see from the total is that on the left-hand side, you see the events. That was the first step. Then you see the processes. And finally, you see the outcome. One moment, there's something wrong with the slide sharing. Is that correct?
Just hit that slide part, not the pictures, that the news. Now we can see only the news. Yes.
Now it's okay.
Clear.
All right.
Yes, it's clear.
Sorry for that.
No problem. Please continue.
We see now that the events result in processes, and the outcomes, as you see here, the liquidity and the financial value. New in this approach is that you don't only value the financial value, but also focus on social value and environmental value. This is in a nutshell where the article is all about. Of course, you understand more deeper knowledge you can understand during reading. So I would like now to finish, to be in time with the conclusion and to have some time for questions. What are the main results? That is part in the paradigm of the Anglo-Saxon business model, where cash is king, where it's all about money. It's better liquidity in the supply chain, a lower cost of the operating working capital, so lower cost of inventories, lower cost of debts outstanding, and a higher economic value added, more profitability. If you look to the additional values, and then it's more a little bit the Rhineland business model, where we don't look only at the financial value, but also the social value, the human value, and the environmental value, then we see that when you collaborate in a chain better, that the social and human value increases. There's no child labor, for instance, or people paid too low. There's a fair distribution of benefits in the supply chain between the, let's say, the companies, the suppliers, the focal company, and the distributors. And at the end also, there should be a higher environmental value because in the prices, of course, is the damage included of, for instance, pollution, or, for instance, more sustainable ways of packaging are used, or means of transportation. So, dear Professor Kurt, this is in a nutshell what it's all about. Maybe it's time for some questions, because I think it's also good to spend some time on questions of the audience.
Thank you very much. I think it was understandable and valuable for the topic. It was something that maybe the management part of these financial issues, and it is useful to produce products to share with the other places, geographical distance, I think. Are there any questions for Professor Jansen about this presentation, that how the additional values or the main results come out from this supply chain?
Sorry, can I ask?
Yes,
question?
please.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Professor Jansen. I have a question concerning how do you include in the value added social and human expenditures cost? It is the first question, and the second question deals with could you tell me how your model could overcome these inconsistencies between inflows and outflows of products and information, because a lot of times they are not coincide. Thank you very much for your answer.
Well, if I understand Professor Nosova, there are two questions. One question is how you include the two other values in the financial value.
Yes, exactly.
Actually, in modern literature, there are the three values. So if you look to annual reports of companies, you see that the three values are separately published. So there is a part of financial value, like EVA. There is a part of social value and a part of environmental value. In a quite recently published book about these three values from two Dutch professors in English, you can read it in, let's say, in a concise way, how things fit together. In one of my future publications, I will also mention that. Coming back to your second question, yes, you are completely right. There are three flows in the model, and the two flows, the production flow and the service flow, plus the information flow, they determine, in fact, at the end, the financial flow. So it's not that you should look at separately, but in a kind of holistic view, you should try to combine them. And that's often not so easy for managers to do, because they should look at from a, let's say, helicopter view, how to manage it and get rid of their own responsibilities as being a CEO or a CMO or a CFO. They should really integrate a way of looking at the performance in the supply chain. And that's not easy. I hope I answered your questions, Professor Nosova.
I think it's okay. From Professor Nosova, we cannot hear you. If Professor Nosova, we cannot hear your voice. You mute yourself. We cannot hear. You need to open the...
Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Professor Jansen. Another question from, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor Jansen. So great presentation and so actuality topic. But today, when we live in exchange time, today for high-level management so goals. What kind organization changes management need to make new generation management to add value products, but destruction, so more destruction in organization.
Yeah, we often use this way of thinking by playing a serious game. This game is called the Cool Connection, where students at, let's say, fourth, fifth year level, they do this simulation, try to understand how things work in real life. So the Cool Connection, for instance, simulates a business environment where the four type of forces that play a role in the company, they are simulated and they have to act on that and make decisions in a short time. So it's really helping them how to do that. And this means if you can educate students, you can also educate managers in this line of thinking. So the Cool Connection, this serious game, is also used a lot for training staff from companies to learn how to work together in a company from different perspectives. So you see that the operations officer works together with the CEO, the CFO, and the marketing officer. And that's not so easy because they have to really get above their own field of expertise and try to think in terms of the total importance of the company.
That specialty goes for HR department, or that specialty goes for other department?
Well, in this view, it's an integrated and very holistic view where you combine, let's say, the different expertises to work together. Of course, you have your own expertise, that is clear, but also you have a common expertise for the company. And there you see that management teams work together. And this way of, let's say, getting rid of container thinking, you don't stick anymore in your own container of your own department, you work together. And that is important to see that, for instance, a sales office has to work together with the production office to see if they can promise in time, for instance, deliveries. But if they give too much credit to the clients, then also the finance department has to be involved because they have to finance that promise. And that's what they learn, for instance, in this simulation game. So it's a very high level game to understand how it works. If you would like to know more about it, please let me know. I can inform you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So interesting topic. Maybe will be together collaboration.
Oh yes, why not?
Thank you so much.
We are always open for collaboration. Also, the company that is hosting the game is very open to academic collaboration.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Professor Makovos, sorry. Yeah. There is one question in the chat box, Professor why did you choose the Anglo-Saxon model? Could other governance models be helpful and lead to other results? The question is for you. Maybe you can also see the question
Yeah,
in the chat
no, I
box.
cannot see the question, but I listened quite carefully. I think the question is clear to me. The governance model I used here is, let's say, quite common in, well, Western Europe. But there are also possibilities of other, let's say, governance models, like I mentioned in the conclusions, to look more from a Rhineland point of view. Then you look more to the responsibilities to society, to the stakeholders, not only the shareholders, but stakeholders in general. And that, of course, asks a complete different way of reporting. So annual reports, they change quite a lot in Western Europe, going more into the Rhineland model compared to some, let's say, Anglo-Saxon publications of American companies or UK companies. I hope this is an answer to a quite difficult question.
Yes, okay. The question was from Dr. Christina. I think it's okay with her. Thank you very much for the answers.
You're welcome.
For the presentation also. It was nice to hear from you.
Yep.
Now, can we continue with the second presentation? The second presentation is from Professor Nosova Strategies for Achievement of Global Competitiveness of Transnational Companies. Yeah, Professor Nosova is here. Can you share your screen, please?
I'll try to do it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Just on. Yes.
If you want, you can make it full screen.
Yes. Okay.
We can see it now. It's clear. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Okay. Okay. Dear conference organizers, Professor Selim Azdemir, Professor Farouk, and the organizer of this session, Dr. Kurt. I'm very happy to present my paper, which is devoted to strategies for achievement of global competitiveness of transnational companies. The basic questions which I'm going to discuss, the approaches of transnational companies development strategies, global strategies of transnational companies in high-tech technologies, and conclusions. The aim of the article is to consider transnational company strategies in high-tech sector of the economy, research development effects through the placement of branches of foreign enterprises, advanced technologies, application, the spread of new forms of management organization, and the increase of welfare state. The methodology includes descriptive, statistical, quantitative, and qualitative research methods, and comparative economics approaches. I just want to shortly to speak about the basic transnational company strategies, strategy of limited growth, new growth, reduction of last resort, and a combined strategy. And in the period of very competitive fight between transnational companies, the search of new strategies is becoming very important. So there are several approaches. For example, Katuria, he considered that foreign direct investment play an active and very important role in the transfer of innovations as a factor of competitiveness, and diffusion of the quite advanced technologies promote the wider use in the process of exchanging ideas. And for example, it is the approach of Ethan Kartoumi. Another approach is, for example, Radajevich, he points out on the institutional factor, and Zotov points out that the final development and choice of innovative strategy of transnational companies are related to the need for coordinated structural and infrastructural activities and decision-making on necessary production facilities, their distribution by specific types of products, the choice of the system measure business performance, labor status, and appropriate prices should be developed. So I just skip some parts of my paper. I just want to pay attention on the most, according to the data, the most innovative companies, and you could, it is the data of 2023, you could see that the first 5 companies are the companies of United States, and 3 of them are in technology, and Amazon and Tesla, consumer goods and automobile. So among the leading companies are 5 companies in the field of technology: car manufacturers Tesla, Toyota, Volvo, Bosch, and the electrical engineering company Siemens. As 4 factors contributing to the success of innovative companies, the specialists of Boston Consulting Group have noted the ability of these companies to provide high speed of innovation development, improvement processes, efficiency in the field of research and development, maximum effective use of technological platforms, and systemic study of related markets. So capitalizing on new ideas requires an innovative strategy that aligned with business priorities, yet flexible enough to adapt to changing market conditions. 4 factors contributing to the success of innovative companies: the ability of these companies to provide high speed of innovation development, improvement of process efficiency in the field of research and development, maximum effective use of technological platforms, and systemic study of related markets. I just want to mention that the leading transnational companies use artificial intelligence platforms, ecosystems, which allow them to search for new products, services, and ways of working. 9 out of 10 respondents in the current top 50 survey believe that their companies invest in artificial intelligence, and more than 30% expect investment point in artificial intelligence, which will have the greatest impact on its industry over the next 3 to 5 years. I just show you that the leading companies have put high spending in research and development. And for example, as an example of innovating strategy, I show Boston Consulting Group, which put the innovation strategy of this company includes the creation of innovation platforms, innovation practices, and could show the circle of very competitive strategy from one point to another. And I just want to make a conclusion that transnational companies use comprehensive integration strategy, which provide to transform their geographically distributed branches and fragmented dedicated production system into production and distribution networks, global integrated or regional in the world. Research and development investment is the main factor in radical innovation development. The key factors for achieving transnational companies' technological leadership: flexible mechanism of investment activity, organizational methods, means for global economic change. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Nosova. It was interesting to hear, especially about AI.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions to our professor? about these strategies for achievement of global transitional companies. What if in the future, after several years, for example, Amazon has a great delivery web all over the world. If we are going to get our things, I mean, the products we try to buy to our mailbox, to our personal accounts, we are just buying virtual and selling virtual things. So the company is going to have some virtual things they are going to produce, and maybe the cars or the workers of the of those companies, especially for delivery or other things. How do you see this? Are we going to have some people that they are working in this area going to be jobless, or are they going to have in another part of these companies?
Okay, thank you so much for a very nice question. The first, I would say that it will be, as you are saying, in future, I consider, because we'll come to the period when some kinds of jobs will be not available. It means that people should spend more time for leisure, for self-development, and so on. It is the first. The second, of course, we speak, if we speak about the use of cash money and virtual money, and in future, I consider we'll come to the period when we'll not have all this cash, will have all virtuals, and it means that all transactions and everything will be virtual. And of course, we would not need these people who are engaged in this whole process. So it will be development, the use of robots, the use of new equipment and everything. And I consider it will be very quickly, just in 10 years, it will be completely new world, it seems to me. Just like fantastic, but you will see.
Okay, thank you. It's interesting. Another question or questions or additions to Professor Nosova? I think we don't have. So can we continue? Thank you, Professor Nosova. Can we continue with the third presentation? It's from Dr. Rajan. Is he here? Yes.
Rajan, Mr. Good. Rajan.
Rajan, sorry, not Rajan, sorry, Rajan. Please inform me about the pronunciation. And yeah, can you share your slide if you have? I think it's possible to share your screen. The topic is managerial practice and skills related factors of affecting productivity and empirical study among the managers. Okay, you can continue. Please, the stage is yours.
Good evening to everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity again. So I have some problem with my screen. Please don't kindly excuse me. I have chosen the topic for today's presentation is how managerial practice and skill related factors at the hospital affect the productivity of the hospital managers. So the reason is I worked at the hospital as administrative officer. So I very keenly observed how various managerial factors associated with the managerial area and skills affect the productivity of the managers. So I chose the topic from my personal managerial field. I chose the respondents from paramedical field. I worked at the Tirunelveli city of Tamil Nadu, India. So I chose the paramedical manager from the hospital where I worked. So from the concept I developed from that area, I extended this concept to all hospitals, how I can choose, how I can apply this concept to check how various managerial practice and skills of the managers affect their productivity. So I have chosen 9 variables to decide how managerial practice and skill affect the manager's productivity. Are the managers having freedom to take decision, to make initiative? Are the managers having adequate authority according to their responsibility? Do they have sufficient guidelines to make decisions from the hospital? Have they been given? Are they able to cope up with different kind of people working at the hospital? Because having ability to cope up with all kind of people is very important to exercise their duty. So another thing, do they have the skill to communicate with all people efficiently? Because these are the factors I have taken to decide how managerial practice and skill affect their productivity, to check. So the objective of this study is how various factors associated with the managerial practice and skill affect the productivity of the managers of paramedical departments. So this study will be definitely useful for the hospital management to make sufficient decisions, enough policy with regard to their managers. And also, it will help the managers of paramedical department to reassess themselves, where we are weak, where we are strong, where we have to upgrade us. Similarly, the study will be useful for the future research scholars to initiate further study. So I have researched some various articles and books, and I have found that there is no previous studies related to this topic exclusively in the study area. So I have taken this study based on the research gap from the previous studies. So when going to the research methodology, this is a quantitative study, descriptive study. I have taken 60 paramedical managers from paramedical department using both convenient and judgment sampling technique. I have used simple tools, mean, standard deviation, and percentage of simple percentage method. So the research shows that majority of the managers found that majority of them are female, and they are between 30 and 35 years. They are married. They are having a work experience between 4 and 6 years. And compared to the next factors which are affecting their productivity, the majority of them have said they don't have enough freedom to take initiative and make decision. They have too much responsibility. At the same time, they don't have enough authority to exercise their power. They don't have enough guidelines to make decision. Similarly, the expectation from the higher officials are too much. They don't have that much skill and guidelines to fulfill their expectation. They have self-doubt about their skills, and they are having fearness to communicate to superiors. These are the factors how that affect their productivity. So the suggestion I have given to this study is management should give. Sir, are you hearing, sir? Management should give sufficient freedom to the managers, and they should be given adequate authority according to their responsibility. Sufficient guidelines from the top management should be given to the middle level managers to make decision. The manager should also grow self-development, grow their skill by their own interest to deal with various nature of people and situation. They have to improve their communication skill, such as assertiveness, how to talk in a bold way, and also assertively take decision. And the study, as far as the study area limitation is concerned, the study area is limited to a particular city, only Tirunelveli city. It has not covered the entire district. And I have used very less small sampling technique. So the future research scholar should be using very big study as covering the large sampling methods. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rajan.
I have problem with my screen, sir. That's why I couldn't cope up with it.
No problem. It was clear for us, and you have changed your slides, and we have seen all of your slides, and we can see the results and your sentences, your words. No problem with that. And it was interesting topic, I think, about this administrative part of the hospitals.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any questions to?
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you very much for a very valuable, interesting presentation. I have only one question. Did you do your research before COVID or not? If yeah, before, if after, I have another question.
No, after COVID, madam.
After COVID, okay. I just want to know, could you estimate how did COVID affect the skills of managers? Are they increased? Are they improved? And what's your opinion? Just thank you.
Yes, definitely. Before COVID, the managers, including paramedical, medical managers, they were not that much associated very much. They did not have that much knowledge and skill about computer. Now they have improved their communication skill, especially with the technological area. This is the major development, especially in underdeveloped district like us. Before this COVID, we were very struggling. Our all communication modem with the written letters. But now everybody is able to handle laptop, internet, everything. So this is the very important development after COVID in underdeveloped city like ours, third tier city like us, like Tirunelveli city.
Just if a small question concerning what is situation now? Do you have any COVID in your this city or not? Because in Europe, for example, this a lot of samples now we have it. Just what is situation in your region? Just to know. Thank you.
Madam, we have completely recovered. We don't have any restriction right now. We are especially as the hospitals, they are running as usual. No any restriction we don't have right now in India.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you for the question and for the answer. Any questions or other question?
Okay, I want to take a question. So interesting topic, but I not understand what kind specialty of medicine management.
Come again,
what kind specialty goals for medicine management? But that is universal goals. you tell about medicine management. Yes, that is right.
I have spoken about
What kind
paramedical department.
specialty skills for a medicine manager? That is specialty skills.
No, I didn't get your question.
Dear Professor Rajan, when I want to work in medicine manager, like
Okay, madam.
that manager, what kind specialty skills for medicine manager? What different or that is similar
well,
skills for medicine management?
medicine management, medicine management is you are talking about medical field. There are three kind of field in medicine. One is medical, pure medical, they are doctors. Second one is paramedical. Third one is non-medical. So based on our qualification, we can become what type of managers. For instance, if I'm a medical doctor, I can become a medicine manager, like I can manage doctors. If when I am a paramedical employee, I can become a paramedical manager. So your question is very broad. So we cannot.
Why? I won't tell about, we know the classical function for management, and when you tell about medical medicine management, what kinds specific skills for medical medicine managers? That is similar for classical function and skills for manager.
Yes, but all kind of, I told you the classification from all kind of, all three kind of managers are exercising all managerial functions. But medicine, I have not heard medicine manager. I have not heard that term. Maybe in your European country, do they have? I don't know. But in Indian scenario, we don't have medicine managers. We have different types of managers. Among them, those who are handling medicines, maybe they are called pharmaceutical managers. But everyone is handling the managerial function, as you said. Maybe I'm not answering your question because the question is very complicated. I don't understand really.
Yes, I agree with you that it's so complicated question, but in my university, Kharkiv Polytechnica, we will want to provide new education program, medicine management. But we have more promotion in that education program. I think I know that is answer. Thank you so much. So
Actually, I have done hospital management. One of my MBA master degrees is hospital management. I am handling hospital, but we don't have that subject medicine management. We don't have in our country. Maybe in future I will have to. When I go to UK, I will study about. I will know about it. I don't have exact answer for you. I don't want to confuse you.
Thank you so much. I will you success and continue your scientific research. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions and additions. And also thank you, Dr. Rajan, for the presentation. I think no questions or additions, then we can through the next presentation. It's from two academicians, Arif and Alperen. Are they here?
Yes, but not academicians, we're students.
Okay, yes. Then you are going to be. It was my hope.
Yeah, hopefully.
It was my hope. Yeah. Okay. You can share your screen, Arif.
Yes.
Advantages of AI for healthcare in the developing countries. Okay.
Okay.
The stage is yours. We can see your screen. If you want, you make it full screen.
So which screen are you guys seeing right now?
Advantages of AI healthcare for developing countries presentation. Yes, now it's
okay. You can see it. Okay.
Yeah, the stage is yours. Yeah.
My name's Arif Camci, and I'm with my friend Alperen Aydin. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a camera, but this is our research on AI in healthcare for developing countries. This is our table of contents. We're first going to talk about our motivation, healthcare problems in developing countries, introduction to AI and how it is in healthcare, and then how can AI help in the conclusion. So our motivation. Over this summer, we had a trip to Uganda with a group of high schoolers where we raised money to open a medical camp in the city of Jinja. This medical camp had around 1,000 people visit and get checked up, as most people there had not seen a doctor in years, maybe their lifetimes. There we saw the biggest problem, not enough doctors, as there were only 4 doctors for all the patients. As a result, the camp was operating very slowly. There we also saw that what the doctors were doing was medical diagnosis. So we thought, why could this not be sped up or increased in volume by AI? As not only were the 4 doctors not enough for everyone, but a good chunk of the budget had also went to them as well. So when we got back, we started researching about how AI could help us improve this process.
To actually first understand the problem we have in developing countries, we have to understand we have to look at their statistics that distinguish them from actual developed countries. As we see from our graph, we see the mortality rate or the cause of death in developing countries is mostly on infectious and parasitic diseases, which is 41%, and compared to developed countries, it's just barely 1.2. These numbers underscore a lack of health infrastructure, clean water and sanitation, and basic health services, which are fundamental to improving healthcare in these regions. In comparison, the developed countries primarily contend with non-communicable diseases such as heart attacks and strokes, with the leading cause of death at 46%. However, in these developing countries, these conditions only account for 10%. This highlights that these conditions that the lower rate of these incommunicable diseases are not a sign of better health, but a reflection that there's a shorter life expectancy due to preventable infectious diseases, unfortunately, maybe killing the people at a younger age. On top of this, there's another issue that there's a lack of medical professions in these developing regions. As we see from our graph, there's barely we have like 0.1 in like some regions in Africa, or like 0.25 compared to over like 5 in well-developed countries. These statistics paint a clear picture of the healthcare crisis in developing countries, and we need to address the crisis beyond improving just numbers. It's about we have to transform the healthcare landscape to ensure that there's more accessibility for these people in developing countries. So our introduction to AI. AI is artificial intelligence, or AI, refers to the ability of computer systems to undertake tasks in the world typically by human intelligence. AI at the most basic level is fed data and then uses to predict outcomes. And then recently, AI has exploded with OpenAI's ChatGPT models. They are really widespread among students, so we want to take the idea of AI and implement it towards solving a crucial problem we observed during our trip in Uganda.
So how can AI be used in healthcare? AI is able to analyze large amounts of data from existing patients of diseases, and using machine learning and neural networks, it can make patterns to identify these diseases. Then patient data can be uploaded using images, and the AI can analyze the images according to the patterns it has made and diagnose the patient accordingly. This form of diagnosis is not just a proposal, as it has already been in use. For example, not in use, but it has already been proven that it works. For example, a research study done by Dr. Dalbosa and colleagues in 2017 used a neural network in identifying skin cancer and achieved high accuracy. Another research done by Sana Ansari and Imran Shafi in 2011 used a neural network to diagnose liver disease, the liver disease hepatitis virus. This model achieved 97.59% accuracy, showing that if applied, AI can even have more accuracy than doctors. However, even though artificial intelligence seems very good so far, there are many errors that can happen, especially in situations where there are two options, such as medical diagnosis, where the patient either has a disease or doesn't. There are three errors that can happen. The first one is type 1 error. It is when there is a disease, but AI says to not apply the treatment as it does not detect it. This can have very harmful effects as the patient will most likely stay sick and might even get worse. The second error is type 2 error. This is when there isn't a disease, but the AI states that to do treatment as it detects it. This likely will only lead to harmful things if the treatment makes people without the disease worse, which is rare. But this causes financial loss as there will be treatment wasted on someone that does not have the disease. The last error is a mix of the two. It's when the AI doesn't identify the disease the person has, but somehow identifies a different disease, which will lead to which will be the most harmful as it not only leads to treatment loss, but also progression of a disease on a patient. So, what can AI do? Even though AI can have errors, for countries where millions of people don't have access to any doctor visits, it can provide a big improvement as AI can do what doctors can do and even faster. It also is cheaper as money is a problem for developing countries and the people in them. Another positive factor of AI will be opening an industry in these countries that can provide jobs to people that need them and also boost their economy. One counter argument can be that if people can't get enough resources for doctors, how can they get enough resources for treatments that might be more expensive than the visit? This is a valid point. However, a lot of sicknesses can be solved without expensive medicine or even without medicine at all. For example, something like antibiotics can cure a lot of diseases and it is pretty cheap. And even if something can't be cured, knowing that someone has a disease can help contaminate it. For example, for smallpox, even though it might not get cured, knowing someone has it and quarantining that individual may save thousands of lives, as smallpox has before killed millions where people weren't aware of it.
Overall, our experience in Uganda gave us firsthand insights into the healthcare challenges faced by developing countries. We were able to recognize their needs for professional and the effect that the demand, uh, the effect of the lack of professionals had on the people. Fortunately, the implementation of AI along its limitations against these challenges is promising as it offers a way to improve the accessibility of healthcare in those developing countries. And
Yeah,
that
and that's
is
it.
our
Thank
input.
you, young researchers. It was interesting. We have spoken about the delivery staff of Amazon, that they are going to be jobless in the future, but you are speaking about the doctors. So, yes, Arif, what are going to the doctors do in the future then if you are going to give those abilities to AI?
So, as it has happened before, I don't think that bringing something into the industry that's like groundbreaking is going to change it. For example, like factories, whenever people were making a lot of stuff on their own, like textiles, factories came, people thought their jobs were going to be gone, but instead there were jobs opened. So
Okay.
I think that there will be jobs opening in this field. For example, there still has to be data that has to be fed into the AI so
Mhm.
that it can identify it because it can't make data. It can't AI doesn't really actually make decisions as in the sense that we make decisions. It more like just looks at previous data and then compares it to the data that you have and then sees if it's like similar or not for at least for medical diagnosis.
Okay.
So what I feel like instead of doctors doing medical diagnosis, they would be doing more research.
Okay.
So like seeing like finding how new diseases affect people and then finding how to identify and treat it. And then AI could be the one that's actually doing the identifying
Okay.
from the patients and then treating it.
Then it's like a helper.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Any addition to this, Alperen, to Arif?
No, I think he explained it quite well.
Okay. There is one question in the chat box, Arif, if you can read it.
Yes, let me.
I see it. It says, what is the cost of AI implementation in healthcare institutions? We don't have a specific number, but running AI itself, training it is something else, which requires like a GPU. However, actually running the model itself, isn't that costworthy, as there's like there's already online AIs. I believe Google has one that's just, you can use it. I believe it's called trainable machine, and then you can just use it and already like it's not that, how would you say, costly, or it's not expensive.
Yeah, to add on to that, like AI will most likely won't be as expensive as getting doctors, especially for these countries, because instead of getting a trained professional to analyze the person, you'll get basically anyone to take pictures of the actual place of the disease is, or basically do an initial analysis and then upload it to this AI. The actual implementation at first might be expensive, but afterwards the running cost will be extremely low, as the maintenance for it is not that high.
Okay, thank you. The question was from Dr. Christina.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
Okay, now any questions or addition?
I want to ask a question, Mr. Kurt.
Yes.
I don't know. I think we use smartphone. They are using artificial intelligence, I think. We are not far from artificial intelligence. Is it right?
I mean, artificial intelligence is basically levels. For example, Siri is artificial intelligence, basically, but
Okay.
there's levels to this. Like, for example, ChatGPT, you give it something, there's an answer given. That's very advanced, but like Siri, it doesn't really give it. So
Siri is also an artificial intelligence. Okay.
yeah.
I think I wonder when we use artificial intelligence, we are getting more silly or not.
I mean, we could look at this the same way before in history as like Google, for example. Because before people had to before Google existed, people had to instead of, for example, right now I could just search for example, let's say planets, right? I could search what planet is the biggest in our solar system. I don't have to memorize it, even though I have it memorized. I don't have to memorize that. I feel like it's going to be the same way, where instead of having it memorized, we're going to use it. But I don't think that's going to make us dumber, in the sense that we're not going to have less knowledge. That might make us more reliant on AI, but I don't think it's going to make us dumber.
I feel like we still have to be cautious. We can't 100% depend on it. We still have to we still have to have doctors overlook these AI decisions, as it might be really close to being 100% or like 95% detection, but I believe we still have to be careful, as there's still limitations towards it.
Okay, thank you. Good questions and good answers, I think. No questions, so we can move up. Next is, there are three researchers here, Senih, Adem, and Esad. One of our presenter is in a hurry. Esad, if you allow one of the presenter.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, can you continue after this presentation? One of our presenter is in a hurry, so he's going to present at first, then you can continue with you.
Okay, that's no problem.
No problem with you?
No.
Thank you very much for your understanding. You're a lifesaver. Okay, I want to introduce Sergii Lysenko. If you can see.
I'm here.
Yeah, here. It's nice to see you. Please share your screen and we can continue with you. Scoping review of impact of digital transformation on business process.
Okay, let me share my screen. Let me know if you see it.
Yes, it's clear for us.
Okay, thank you.
The stage is yours. Please continue.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. I'm glad to be here, and sorry that I interrupt your process. Today I'm going to present the result of scope and review of impact on digital transformation on business process. As you know, over the past decades, and in particular since COVID-19 pandemic, digital transformation has covered more and more areas in business and management. Digital transformation poses new challenges for scientists, especially when assessing the impact of digital transformation on business process. Through this systematic exploration of existing literature, it helps to understand the essence of digital transformation in the context of business process and management. So let's go. Yes, the question. So for us, as you know, nowadays in digital area, is using new technologies like Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and so on. The question how digital transformation can impact on business process is more and more actual. And we clearly see that digital transformation represents the integration of digital technology into all aspects of business. Fundamentally altering how organizations operate and deliver value to customers. It's a comprehensive shift that transcends traditional roles and processes, creating new business models and opportunities in digital age. So the result of research suggests future opportunities in this widespread field, and thereby highlights the most influential and unique research in the field. Here we see some definition which we choose from a lot of them, and I would like to specify that digital transformation is a process of using digital technologies to create new, modify existing business processes, culture, and customer experience to meet the changes business and market requirements. And especially if you look at the business process, what is it? It's a comprehensive approach to implementation of the objective of an organization. And the main that is concentrates on optimizing the ways business processes run in organization in order to increase effectiveness of operation within an organization. So if we go to the next slide, here we can see a methodology of research. The methodological framework was based on an iterative process of gathering, analyzing literature. We use the comprehensive search which included databases such as Google Scholar, Web of Science, and ResearchGate, and so on, and of course academic journals, focusing on articles published between 2019 and 2023. The inclusion criteria view publications that discuss digital transformation within the context of business process management, with a particular focus on sustainability and corporate governance. To analyze the scientific publication and scope of articles, we formulated the questions which will allow us to cover and present the impact of digital transformation on business process. For example, the question like what are the main components and characteristics of digital transformations that affect business process? What challenges and problems accompany the digital transformation of business processes? And also here you can see the steps which we use to get our result. Like first of all, it's research question, then we go to the criteria selection, next data extraction, we use synthesis and analysis, and the last step we use reporting analysis, reporting result. From our point of view, you see we use a lot of sources, as I mentioned before, and we had some specific criteria for selection our result. So the following strategies are used to effectively search scientific databases with keywords and phrases like digital transformation, business processes, management, advanced search and keywords, digital transformation, and we use Boolean specification like and all business process and all management, as well as additional terms very interesting for us: impact and digital transformation and business process, and filtering, of course, by date from 2019 2023 year, and the main language was English. To assess the influence of articles, attention was paid to the number of publications. Here we see the result of data extraction according to search criteria. According to research, we see there was growing academic interest in studying the impacts and implications of digital transformation, leading to a search in scholarly articles and research in this area when we use the search criteria like digital transformation of business process or management. In 2019, like we see it for the blue color. So, and the reason for that is that digital transformation has gained substantial momentum across various industries. Business increasingly recognize the need to integrate digital technologies into their operation to remain competitive. So, and we see that in 2023, it's really huge number of articles, and it means that it's a really popular theme, and we can see the result on the next slide. So here we can see how popular within scientific research the criteria, especially impact and digital transformation and business process, will be in current year and in the future as well. So it can be attributed to several key factors. First of all, of course, we understand that post-pandemic business landscape, the COVID-19 pandemic accelerated digital transformation as business adapted to remote work, especially e-commerce and digital customer interactions. The second key factor, ongoing evolution and maturation of digital transformation. By 2023, technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, and cloud computing have advanced significantly, offering new capabilities for transforming business process. There is a deeper integration of digital technologies in business, making the study of their impact more relevant and necessary. The last one, broad industry application. Digital transformation has become relevant across various sectors, leading to diversity of research focusing on its impact in different contexts. And especially really popular right now, sustainable development and corporate responsibility. research increasingly focus on how digital transformation aligns with sustainable business practices and corporate social responsibility. There is also interest in understanding how digital transformation helps businesses meet regular requirements and manage risk. So the area of digital transformation and impact on business processes is a focal point of academic interest. Yet it continues to demand a more comprehensive conceptualization, a deeper understanding of its prerequisites and strategic approach with a long-term outlook. So this study reveals that there is a substantial corpus of scholarly work endeavoring to probe this subject. And the results suggest future opportunities in this widespread field, and thereby highlight the most influent and unique research in the field. So, thank you for your attention, and I will be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you so much for your presentation. It was interesting to hear those things about your topic. It's another management area, I think.
Yes.
Yes. Any questions to our researchers?
Yes,
So
can I ask? Yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Professor.
Sergei, thank you very much for very nice and very deep presentation. I have some specific question concerning the situation in Ukraine, because you have spoken about digital transformation and the effects on business process management. And in case of Ukraine, you know that our we have very high level of digital transformations, nevertheless, of the war. And how could you estimate and define how war affects the digital transformation and business process management in Ukraine, and what should be done in order maybe to improve something, or just what do you think about it? No, like with producing drones or something like this, because you know the situation. Just I want to know. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your question. Yeah, it's a really popular theme right now in Ukraine. When the war started, actually, we started to use this approach, like digital transformation. For example, a lot of IT companies started to move to different areas of Ukraine, and they started to convert this part of business and understand how to use their area. And the second part, as I mentioned, really open question right now. I know exactly, especially for Kharkov, for big cities, it's to use digital transformation in scope of sustainable development, because a lot of private companies started to think how to make the job, but in the same time to make it remote. And this is the first step when they try to use any specific cases from digital transformation. For example, e-commerce, for example, artificial intelligence. Also, as I mentioned, right now, a lot of companies think how to use blockchain during this their communications and getting their contracts and so on. If we are talking about estimate and about future, especially in Ukraine, I see we have really big progress. If you look at the, like drones and robot technique, it's also part of digital transformation. And it shows us that we have really big knowledge in this area, and we can easily and quickly to transform our factories in this area, and it will give us a lot of benefits and profits. So for me, it looks like we on on the way to get this area in our life. In the same time, I think we will see really huge progress after the end also.
Okay.
Because right now we yeah.
You have another question, one more question in the chat box for you. Can you please read it and from Dr. Christina?
Sorry. Yeah, the transformation affects the whole organization, right? Is the possibility to run pre-test or transform only a few business processes at the beginning to get familiar why these changes. Thank you for your question. Yeah, it's really popular question, especially is it really need to the whole organization to start use digital transformation in one time? I would say no, because it's really expensive, first of all, and not all companies aware about how it works, especially if you are looking into the business area scope and the business models. It means that they, first of all, should get the consultation from the people who have this experience and to have some estimation, to have some investigation. Of course, it depends on their business. For example, if you look at the medical area, we can divide it on two parts, for example, when it's impossible because people should stay offline, but from other hand, they can use digital transformation, for example, to send some specific receipt to their participants. And from my point of view, I think for each organization, it should be unique for them, as I see. In general, they can use the general approach, how and for that, I think should be built a methodology, how to start to go to the this digital area. So, and it's for me, it's a first step, because right now it's part of research, and we are working on that question. I hope during this we will get answer more clear and understand it wider. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the questions and for the answers. I think we can move up for the next presentation. Thank you, young researcher Sergii Lysenko. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next is Senih, Adem, and Esad. Now
Yes,
it's
sir.
time to their presentation. Thank you very much for the polite
That's no problem.
times. Thank you.
Yes, thank you
Now,
for what I said. Thank you.
The impact of AI on employment and jobs, a comprehensive analysis that we were talking about this. Let's get more answers about this. Okay, the stage is
Yes.
yours.
Okay, so me and my colleagues, Adam, Sharif, and Senih, we did our research based off of the impact of AI on employment and jobs. Let's see if we can move to the next slide.
Excuse me.
We can see
Maybe
your
the
screen.
arrow
No
keys.
problem. It's full screen. Please continue.
My apologies. Give me a
Yes.
second.
Stopped it.
Wait, I'm gonna share it again.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, so our table of contents. So we're going to be going over our introduction, the history of AI, abstracts. So the AI integration across industries, changing job roles, societal ramifications. And then next slide, please. Policy and governance, future outlook, conclusion, and our references. So why do we choose this topic? So in our growing modern society, the use of AI is becoming more widespread and relevant. The modern AI, like OpenAI, for example, is relatively new in its early stages when it comes to its application in society. The effects of AI on society is a research topic and has a mysterious identity to us. We wanted to uncover this mystery of AI and make our own research and come with our own conclusions.
Introduction. AI in recent years has grown immensely. Artificial intelligence now has the capability to rival the work of human beings, thanks to advanced generative models. Day by day, the implementation of artificial intelligence spreads to different job industries. Today, we will be discussing the effects AI has on job descriptions.
So, our historical context. AI has existed since the Industrial Revolution in its early forms, where the factory systems and the machinery became popularized and implemented in society. Decades after the initial boom of the revolution, in 1956, the term artificial intelligence was first coined in the Dartmouth Summer Research Project on Artificial Intelligence, where it was discussed further. Then came computer programs through computers like the Macintosh, which relied on humans to type in code in order to make the computer complete a task. The computer program, being able to run by itself after the person writes its code, indicates that modern AI started here. Today, we see AI models that generate information at a pace never seen before. Applications like OpenAI implement AI to relay information to its user in reliable methods.
So next up is our abstract. The main question in our abstract we're trying to answer is, what changes will artificial intelligence bring to the work industry? We know that AI is able to allow for new opportunities and at the same time bring an end to opportunities that existed before in jobs. Understanding the patterns of AI can help us determine its effect it will bring and has brought to the workplace, to the workforce, drastic or not. We can use this info to plan for the role of artificial intelligence and what will it do in the future.
AI integration in industries. Artificial intelligence is still in its early stages in many companies when it comes to being implemented in jobs. AI is used and tested in spaces where failure does not have a high consequence. Most companies are still in stages where AI is not fully implemented. This isn't to say that AI has never been fully implemented. Companies have implemented AI technologies such as predictive analysis, which is popular in the e-commerce industry. AI technologies such as predictive analysis, excuse me, AI in the application of predictive analysis is used to collect data and make predictions from it. Other applications like automation, security, and spam control allow for a more efficient industry.
So changing job roles. So what effect does AI have on changing the job roles? AI has the capability to change job roles and even completely get rid of them. When implemented in an environment, artificial intelligence can bring about positive change, removing unnecessary labors that require human attention and making the workplace more efficient. At the same time, AI can bring creativity into the workforce, allowing people to use the tools of the computer to create more intricate, original ideas with the help of brainstorming through the use of AI. This tool also needs to be consistently updated and maintained by people who know how to program it, which brings new jobs to the table. But there are also negatives that surround this idea. As AI grows more capable to complete difficult tasks, jobs held by people to complete that task may not exist anymore.
So AI and societal ramifications. As the capabilities of AI continue to grow day by day, an increase in skepticism may occur. In the graph below, a majority of Americans believe that negative results will occur from the use of artificial intelligence. This indicates that people have a growing sense of distrust in AI as it becomes more intelligent. They feel threatened by its abilities, and the fear that AI has a higher intellect than humans starts to exist. These ideas can lead to social instability. Job displacement is also a serious effect that can derive from AI. Even today, we see cashiers slowly disappear and automated checkout scanners appear. These jobs, although appearing small, make up 6.3% of the labor force, and if AI fully takes over, millions of jobs will be lost, bringing job instability.
Policy and governance. The United Kingdom, Canada, China, and the European Union have enacted several policies that restrict AI from reaching dangerous levels. This is a stepping stone in regulating artificial intelligence in jobs. However, There are currently no policies regarding and its effect on jobs.
So the future outlook. In time, AI will be implemented in every sector of the workforce. In the near future, jobs are not expected to be lost to artificial intelligence, as AI still has many ways to go in terms of development and implementation. But the idea of AI and human labor being used together is a very viable option in present times.
So finally, our conclusion, to conclude, the effect that AI has on jobs are both positive and negative. Drawbacks such as job competition between robots and humans, skepticism, and a small number of policies that regulate AI does exist. However, there's also a positive end. More jobs that maintain the AI increase ideas, and more efficient labor is emphasized. One thing for certain is that AI will increasingly be applied into work sectors as time goes on.
Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, young researchers. It was also nice to hear those things from you, and it was interesting about jobs, and nearly 50% of the people thought that it's a negative effect for the jobs. Yeah, we will see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Or we can move up quickly for the next presentation. Yeah, no questions. Then next is Kamil, introducing AI to the mathematics classrooms, a synthesis of current literature. Is Kamil here?
No, I think no. He's not here.
Okay. Next one is Shakhzoda and Merve Kevser Gokgol. What are the impacts of architectural design on occupants' well-being? On how can architects optimize spaces to enhance productivity? Are they here? Oh, that's good. Who's going to present? We can see your screen.
You can see my screen.
You are going to record it.
Yeah,
Record presentation share. Okay. Thank you. You are helping us.
I don't know how to share the voice.
Maybe you can start and we can check together. We are going to hear or not.
Hello, my name is Shakhzoda Mubinova.
Yes, we can hear.
My research study is on the impacts of architectural design on occupants' well-being and how architects can optimize spaces to enhance productivity. So first, let's talk about the role that architecture plays in our world. Architecture goes beyond the aesthetics, profoundly impacting our well-being and our society. And with the rapid urbanization and the rise of green architecture, high-performance buildings are on the rise. So new technologies like energy-efficient lighting and HVAC systems are transforming interior spaces. This research study will examine how architectural design affects our comfort through factors like ventilation, lighting, layout, and biophilic design. And it will also provide potential solutions that architects can utilize to enhance the well-being and productivity in a space. So now let's talk about the psychological factors of design. So factors like ventilation, lighting, and a good choice of interior design are what determine the productivity and well-being of the occupant, because their psychological and emotional responses to these factors are what motivates the occupant. So when we're designing an architecture, there's a great emphasis placed on the materials that are used, and according to a study that was done by Vangelatos in 2019, it was proven that sterile concrete landscapes or like unimaginative buildings, they cause higher levels of stress, and this is due to the lack of natural elements and monotony within the building. So an example would be the bottom left building, and these type of buildings are not aesthetically appealing to the occupants, which cause higher levels of stress. But contrastingly, buildings that incorporate natural elements of the environment around them can help humans to have a place to think better and work better because the quote-unquote green around them has made them feel relaxed and at peace with the atmosphere they're in. An example of a green space would be the top left picture, and this building incorporates the natural element of wood. The next psychological factor is lighting. So whether it's natural or artificial, lighting has a significant effect on the mental health of individuals. And according to the study that was done by Gillis and Gatters-Bullison in 2015, individuals that were exposed to shorter hours of daylight suffered more sadness, fatigue, and in some cases severe depression. So we can conclude from this that proper lighting in a building can enhance the visual aesthetics of a place and boost the productivity and performance in work areas or learning environments like schools to make the occupants concentrate better, make fewer errors in their work, and be more efficient in their tasks. And an example of a building that has great lighting would be the top left. So it has a lot of natural lighting coming in from the windows in the back, and it has artificial lighting right above the desks. And along the lines of lighting is color. So color in buildings leads to different psychological responses by occupants. So for example, light colors like white or beige, they create a sense of spaciousness in the environment. They also reflect natural light and make the surfaces appear larger to the human eye. But the warmer the color is, the more compact the space becomes. So these warm colors can invoke feelings of comfort or stimulate communication. And this is also shown as in the first, the top pic in the right side of the screen, and the bottom pic shows how like bad lighting and really bad choice of colors, like dark colors in the office space, makes the space seem really gloomy. And another thing was done by the study by Ashton in 2018. So one of the largest impacts of architecture is whether or not there's an adequate amount of space offered in a structure, and if the structure or layout is well designed. So for example, in office buildings, having a balance between the individual spaces and collaboration spaces is what boosts the productivity in the workspace, and this allows for the well-being of occupants. And this ties back to the use of different colors in spaces because different tones can create the illusion of spaciousness or the opposite. And similarly to that, different layouts can create different types of moods or emotions in the workspace. So we have the roles of environment on architectural design. So our health is connected to the environment around us. And in our modern urbanized world, however, human interaction with nature is often lacking because of societies and their societal trends like urbanization and just lifestyles in general. So nature helps us relax, and incorporating it into the designs of buildings can produce atmospheres that reduce stress and increase the productivity of occupants. And a type of design that does just this is called biophilic design. So the idea behind biophilic design is to incorporate natural elements or natural features and systems into the built environment to provide humans with the much needed exposure to nature. And this was done according to the study by Gillis and Gatters-Bullison in 2015. So the positive influence of greenery in daylight is consistent with the studies on biophilic design and green space in the study done by Cullenberg and other authors in 2020. And the following photos, the two photos that are shown on this slide, shows how biophilic design can be incorporated into architecture. So for example, the top is the opera house, and not the opera house, it's the headquarters. And it shows how biophilic design was incorporated on the exterior of the space by using greenery and like roofs and like flowing designs that demonstrate the flow of water, for example. And the bottom interior design shows how biophilic design was used in the interior. So there's also a great correlation between the ventilation in design with the occupant's health. In a study that was done by Evans in 2003, it was proven that chemical properties of building materials can be toxic. And Evans mentioned that occupants who were exposed to hazardous materials while like buildings, they exhibited a variety of psychological distress indicators like anxiety, insomnia, or like lack of control, and in some severe cases, PTSD. So this means that a good ventilation and design that has a constant supply of fresh air can improve cognitive function and concentration. It can prevent the buildup of carbon dioxide, and it can increase oxygen levels, which are really essential for mental clarity and focus. And this emphasis on ventilation can be brought back to the practice of biophilic design. By having proper ventilation, there is a connection to the natural element of fresh air, which has been shown to reduce stress and improve productivity in individuals. Now let's talk about the potential solutions that architects can optimize to enhance the occupant productivity. So the first solution is green architectural design. And what I mean by this is to utilize sustainable design principles in design, like solar panels, which improve energy efficiency, or they can utilize an eco-friendly, non-toxic materials that will contribute to better indoor air quality and decrease the exposure to dangerous chemicals, both of which were proven to have a positive impact on occupants' health. And the second solution that architects can utilize is flexible layouts. So by creating adaptable spaces with a balance of collaboration spaces and privacy options, it will provide the habitants with control over their environment and enhance their satisfaction with the space that they're in. So by ensuring that the design is accessible to all the individuals, for example, people with disabilities, this creates diversity in the workspace, creating a more productive environment. And the third potential solution includes biophilic design. So incorporating nature-inspired elements creates a relaxing environment. So architects can do this by adding more windows and glass walls, which will let light, like sunlight and air, flow deeply into the office. So the use of plants or like nature-inspired artwork and natural materials like wood and stone also boost productivity while creating a relaxing environment for the people. Lastly, architects can focus on the colors and aesthetics. So by utilizing light colors for a more peaceful atmosphere and brighter colors for like more to give energy, architects can balance out these vibrant and calming colors to promote creativity in productive work environments. The color green specifically offers numerous advantages because green is associated with nature and this idea of biophilic design. So this has calming and stress relieving qualities for the human brain. And as for aesthetics, aesthetically appealing architecture refers to like the building scale, the shape, the color, the movement, the pattern, and like the visual weight. So by using these elements, architects can foster a sense of well-being. Okay, now comes the limitations of this study. So a lot of limitations is due to the high costs of the solutions provided. So production cost is likely to go up if we utilize an eco-friendly construction materials like solar panels and HVAC systems and like complex biophilic design elements. And due to these worries about the cost and its requirement for like ongoing maintenance, many contractors would be reluctant to invest in these procedures. And if they're not properly maintained, sustainable design features are prone to getting less efficient and in some cases dysfunctional over time. However, these methods can result in long-term energy cost savings. Also, due to the lack of infrastructure or growth in some locations, these solutions cannot be applied everywhere. Not all structures have sufficient space or the area to be able to implement elements like open floor plans or quiet areas or lots of natural light. For example, in urban spaces where they don't have much space or they don't have much greenery or sunlight. So the existing structures and available space determine whether the certain design components are feasible in the area or not. And another limitation is the views that different cultures and nations might have. So these different cultures and nations may not value things the same way when it comes to what is considered aesthetic. So this poses a limitation. And the last limitation is how architects may design buildings, because there are specific building regulations and laws that they must follow. And these laws and regulations might pose as a limitation to the design decisions of architects and what they can implement or not implement. So in conclusion, architects can design spaces that promote well-being, improve performance, and pleasant experiences for occupants by focusing on the natural elements, the lighting, and the colors that they use in their buildings. And another conclusion is that the environment has a major impact on architectural design because of the fact that humans and nature are becoming more and more disconnected due to the urbanized society. And biophilic design aims to close this gap by incorporating natural elements and exposing the occupants to the calming and restorative effects of nature. And there are limitations to implementing these solutions, but it's important to understand that utilizing these design concepts can save money in the long run. And finally, these are the references that I used to conduct my.
So,
Okay.
thank you,
Thank you.
Dr. Faruk. Any questions to Dr. Faruk?
Thanks, Shakhzoda and Merve. They couldn't attend the conference because of the difference between time zones.
Okay. So can we continue with the next one, because we are behind our program? You told me that there are only 5 presentations.
No, we can continue with the last one.
It was a joke, I think. Yes. Now the next one is with Pariani and Aydin Aslan. The collaborative efforts made between the US and Africa in education. It's also pre-recorded.
No, it is absent. No, now your turn, Mr. Cook.
My turn?
I think, yes.
Okay, then I can give my place to the next presentation. Tiffany Pham and Merve Gokgol. Are they here? No. The other one, the next one, Mikhailo Brook and Oksana Makovos. Dr.
It is paper.
Yes, that's a simple paper, but if you want, I can tell about this. But I think that is not a joke about finished our conference.
Okay. Okay. Then the other one was Sergii. Sergii was here. So it's nearly 2 hours we are together, and I want to share my presentation lastly. As a last presentation, I want to make it quick because we have too much time spent here. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Is it full screen? Yes, now. Yes, I will do it quick. The topic is about COVID-19 and the virtual place, how we make it more popular with the COVID-19. Then there is a new term, sociovirtualization. We all talk about socialization. Then I think there will be another process for people to learn social skills through virtual area. Then the new term is sociovirtualization. And my topics inside of this presentation is about impact of COVID-19, physical distancing, emergence of sociovirtualization, defining the sociovirtualization. There is also an article one of the journal in London journals. And I want to move quickly to the interaction part, and it was a literature review article. I have checked the impact of COVID-19 in those articles, how they mention those physical distancing and emergence of virtual area. I have some points about defining socio-virtualization, how we can understand it affects the physical distance, or how we are going to use in our relations this virtual area, like virtual platforms, video conferencing, messaging, social media, online gaming, virtual events. We have used them too much in COVID time. And also there are some benefits of this using, like global reach. It was easy to reach anyone in everywhere, safety, reduced cost, inclusivity and accessibility, social activity, innovation. And also there are challenges. Everyone cannot reach or use the facilities of internet, because some countries or some places, they have some difficulties, challenges for digital things, absence of physical presence. Yeah, it's not physically listening and sharing or touching the emotions, but it's something that we are using. Potential loneliness and isolation can be impact of mental health. Using too much virtual area can affect mental issues, things, privacy and security concerns, digital dependencies, some things that's about personal connections, maybe optimizing the benefits of socio-virtualization, maintaining in-person connections, preventing loneliness and disconnection, mental health and well-being, recognizing the unique qualities of in-person interaction. I want to pass truly from here to my conclusion area. I want to use this because I cannot see all of them clearly. As a conclusion, significance of socio-virtualization, it has emerged as a transformative force in human interaction, particularly in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. It offers convenience, global connectivity, and the ability of transcend physical barriers. And the second point is the shifting social landscape. The evolving social landscape is marked by the coexistence of virtual and in-person interactions. This hybrid model allows individuals to adapt to changing circumstances and choose the most suitable mode of interaction. The other point is enhancing social lives by addressing barriers and embracing ethical considerations. Socio-virtualization can enhance people's social life. The fourth one is adapting to a digital future that we have here mentioned too many times. The digital future is near. As technology continues to advance, society must navigate the socio-virtualization landscape thoughtfully and ethically, how we are going to manage the things inside of this world. In conclusion, socio-virtualization is not merely a response to a crisis, but a long-lasting aspect of our social lives, offering new opportunities for human interaction while preserving the richness of in-person relationships. So it's not the thing that we are going to use instead of in-person relationships, but maybe it can something to develop our relations with the others, with the far distance geographical places to reach other people. So thank you very much for your attention. And it was my presentation. Quickly, I can stop my sharing, and if you have some additions, questions, if there are hard questions, we can speak together, but your additions will be valuable, I think.